Hello and welcome. I am doing a live today on my YouTube just for something completely different. I thought I would start to do this a couple of series of videos on short things, and I was going to use for my inspiration a book called Daily Mantras, a collective written by Lisa Messenger. So I don't know if this is working or not, but I guess we'll find out after I've done it. It'll either work or it won't. So let's have a look. Yep, maybe. We'll keep going anyway. So today I'm actually doing a quote from yesterday because I really love this quote and I wanted to share it with you. It's a quote by Buddha, and it says, "What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create." And the little quote down here, the little message down here is, "This is the law of attraction in the simplest terms. Think it, feel it, create it. You are the captain of your ships or your ship." So for me, this message is really important because it is about that quote, like that says, I always get this one mixed up. Where the energy goes, the focus, where the energy flows, the focus goes, or something like that, along those lines anyway. And the idea is that if we are thinking about positive things, we're more likely to experience positive things. If we're thinking negative things, we're more likely to think of negative things. One of the ways I do that with my coaching is I actually use like two items like this, like two like colors here, and one might be pink, might be a positive emotion, and green might be a negative emotion, or a positive experience and a negative experience. And often what will happen is we pull one to the forefront, and then when we pull one to the forefront, this one becomes bigger and this one becomes smaller, even though they're the same. They're the same weight, like they're all emotions. Emotions are emotions, right? But sometimes these ones become more intense and more stronger, and they can quite often block out the other emotions in our life. And so if we keep focusing on the negative emotions or the negative things that happen in our lives, we keep experiencing them more and more and more. And it keeps getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. And before we know it, all we're thinking about, or if I did it the negative one in front, sorry, all we're thinking about is that negative response and that negative thing. And it tends to take over our life. So we just constantly think about, for instance, if we have a job that we really don't like, we're constantly thinking about how horrible our job is, even when we're at home, or even when we're walking the dog, or even when we're sleeping. And often the people won't be able to sleep because they're constantly thinking about those problems. So knowing that information is the start of the key. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you can do something about it, but it's definitely a really great start and place to start. But if we're willing and ready to do the next step, it's about how do we bring that positive emotions back into a line, and recognizing that emotions are not the things that control our lives. Our thoughts and our responses and our reactions, or the way we react about our feelings, is what rules our lives. We are actually in charge of our of how we act and what we do, not our emotions. Our emotions tell us, they're our messages, they give us information, but they're not necessarily the things that rule our lives. So we might not be able to control what we think and what we feel in the moment, but we can choose how to be compassionate and kind with those emotions, or how to shift them around, or give them a break, or put them away for a little while. It's not about dismissing our feelings, because quite often if we suppress them, they'll come back and persist, like that child nagging on the end of our dresses. So it's about sometimes saying, okay, now's not a great time. Can I just put you to the side for the moment because I have other things to be doing, or etc., something like that. But it's about being able to bring good things into our lives and having great experiences as well as other ones. So, for instance, say we've got sadness in our life, we're not going to turn around and go, well, I'm not going to be sad, I'm just going to be happy all the time. And that idea that some people believe, that you're just going to say, let's just be happy about it. Well, it's not that easy, right? You can't just turn around and go, oh yeah, my dog died, let's all be happy. I mean, it's just not appropriate. You've got to have some sadness about that. It's very normal and human to feel sad about something like that. And everyone will have their feelings relative to their experiences. Just because I may be less sensitive or more sensitive or whatever doesn't mean there's anything wrong with me. It just means that that's my emotions and the way that I respond to them. However, if all that we're doing is focusing on that negative emotion all the time, then we're going to get more and more and more negative emotions throughout our day. And sometimes we're not going to be able to see the sun because of the clouds. We're never going to let those clouds dissipate to be able to let sunshine in every now and then. So we need to allow emotions to come and go and to experience different ones as well. So that's a lot kind of rambled into one section. But the idea here is what you think you become. So if I think I am sad, then I will probably become sadder and sad, and sadness will rule my life. If I think that I am having a moment of sadness, then I will experience a moment of sadness, and then it will allow me to have other moments as well. What you feel, you attract. So if I constantly feel tired, have you ever noticed when you tell yourself you feel tired, guess what? You feel more tired. You don't ever turn around and say, oh, I feel tired, therefore I'm all of a sudden feeling better again. It's the idea that when we feel something, tuning into it and going, I'm feeling pretty stressed. What can I do about that? Because I'm going to be looking for evidence of that stress now, because why am I stressed? Because of this and this and this and this. And all of a sudden, we're going to compound all the stressful things in our lives. Whereas if we recognize the feeling, go, okay, I'm feeling stressed at the moment. As a result of that, I think I need to look for some ways to de-stress. How can I find some things to unclutter my stress? Or how can I find places of calm or things that are calming for me? And then all of a sudden, we start to find solutions around it. And then what you imagine, you create. So if you imagine that your life is difficult, guess what? Your life is going to be difficult. You got it, right? So if you imagine that your life is full of creativity and playfulness, then we start to look for those creative and playful moments. So yeah, I'm really hoping that this is actually being streamed so that somebody is listening to it, or that you're able to watch it. If not, I've had a great time talking to myself about this little quote. And the last line down the bottom says, I am the master of my destiny. So if you have listened to this and this has resonated with you at all, I would suggest you write that on a Post-it note, get yourself a little Post-it note and write down, I am the master of my destiny, and paste it somewhere like on your mirror or somewhere where you wake up in the morning, and use that as your affirmation for the day. And remind yourself that your energy goes where you focus, your energy flows where your focus goes. I'll get it right at some point. There is a quote. You'd think I should have wrote that down before I started this, but yeah, the idea is wherever your energy is being put, or wherever you're focusing that energy, then that's what energy you're going to be receiving, and that's where it's going to flow. So if you're going to use energy, you may as well use it for a good purpose. So pay attention to where you want things to improve, and how you want them to improve. And so if you can find something that you're doing that you enjoy doing, oh, you can be, it's not so much about gratitude, but gratitude can work. It's like thankfulness. But as we know, enforced or me telling you to do gratitude is not necessarily going to help. It's got to come from inside out, not from outside in. If I force it on you, it'll come out as resentment. So it's got to be something that comes from inside out as an internal energy glow and flow. So hopefully you've got something from today. I'd love to come in and do these every now and then. If you would like to encourage me, please subscribe or give me a like so that I can keep doing them. Until then, I'll catch you later. Stay tuned, and bye for now. Love and light.